Now we are only 4 partners from Poland, Sweden, Netherlands and Spain. When we are planning our cooperation, we are planning a big group with people from Greece, from Cyprus, from Portugal, from Ireland and from Germany. But now we are 4. Target group of our projects, of course, are students of vocational training schools and, of course, teachers and trainers, because they are very important in this kind of collaboration. And main activities. The first activities, we are starting with this on the first meeting, was in Eindhoven, in Netherlands, was exchange of experience about possibilities and models of this cooperation between vocational educational trainings and world of work in the local context. So our idea is that each partner will show some examples of this kind of cooperation, and we will know about some good practices. Second activities is organizing the competition for what schools best in cooperation between schools and the world of work. Today we had a very big discussion, long discussion about it, and we established some very good, very important thing, this common scenario. And next month we will start with organizing this kind of competition, which will be in each of our partner countries. Identification of the method and good practices in cooperation between schools and the world of work, because we would like to show this kind of method, not only for us as a partnership, but also for another people, or people who are interested in this area, and we will publish the practices on our website. We will also develop a plan of cooperation between WET and World of Work. We will start with these activities on November this year. And the last is organizing the promotional event for the dissemination of cooperation between WET and WOW. This event will be probably in our city in Krakow, June 2015. What we are planning is our main result. Of course, the project website, because it's very important for dissemination, our result and our activities. Scenario of the competition, which we decide today. Database of the method and good practices, and the plan of cooperation between WET and WOW.
Education and training is a key factor when it comes to the competitiveness of cities and regions, and for that matter countries. Vocational education and training has to be well matched with the needs of the actual labour market. The actual needs of the labour market, perhaps I should stress, in order to be prosperous and to make the region, and for that matter the country, prosperous. I suppose you share this conviction with me. I'm not telling you any news here, but I would also like to add that the question of the status of vocational education and training is very important. It's an important factor that we together, I hope, help to achieve a higher status for vocational education and training. In order for our cities and our regions and our countries to grow, and also in order to help our youth become well equipped for the future. As I said, I'm sure that we agree on most of this, and again, I'm very happy to have this assembly here, and I'm happy that you've chosen to be in our house, in Folkuniversitetet, and in our city, Uppsala. Thank you very much for coming here.
My presentation will take in 4 parts. First, I will stress out how the steering system work in Sweden. Secondly, an overview, one picture of the Swedish education system. And third, especially about vocational education, how it looks like. And fourth, with 5 pictures, how the vocational education is attached to the labor market. I think that's the focus of this conference and this project too. Now, in Sweden we have a very strong goal steering system. That means that the state stress out the goals, and we have a very the main responsibility to run the school and so on is lying in the municipalities and the organizers of independent school. We have a rather large number of independent school, 1/3 roughly in the upper secondary school level. It's the Riksdag and the government that draw up the overall national goals. And we, the agency, we decides on syllabuses, especially on the upper secondary school, that you can see on the red line. Also, we write the knowledge requirements for all school forms. How the school is running and how the teachers work is not a matter for the state. What interests the state is that the school is working to reach the goals. Now, the Swedish education system, just one picture. The main line we can see here, look in this line, that's the main line. First we have preschool, preschool class and compulsory schools. And the first red line, upper secondary school, and that's the age between 16 and 19. After that we go to labor market, or if you continue education, to university or higher vocational education. That is to the top of the right, and this will Stefan Skabotis tell you after me. Mm-hmm. My focus is on upper secondary school.
And at the moment I work on this new agency, a new education form that we have since 2009. But we have something like that before that in Sweden, 97. They started a new education form in Sweden, and the reason for that they saw that the labor market, the working market, needs more qualified people than the upper secondary school could deliver. It shouldn't be an academic level on that. So that's why this education form is coming up. So I tell you a little bit about that. First of all, we have already seen that to reach this education, you must have a degree from upper secondary school. After that, the provider is free to choose what knowledge, skills and competence you should have. So the provider, you have one here, you have about 2 or 3 providers here today, and they have a lot of freedom to say what knowledge, skills and competence do the students have to reach the education. And it should also be based on, can they manage to this kind of education, because some of them are really, really tough. But this is a new, and we will talk with this when the new year is falling down, because in Sweden we have a big reform, 94. And what's happening in 94, that we said, the Swedish government said at that moment, everyone should go 3 years in upper secondary school. Before that, vocational education training was only 2 years. And they had a very close collaboration between the working life. But in 94 it was happening to cut down and split. Here we have the education system, and here we have the working life. And every program in upper secondary school was 3 years. And a lot of vocational education teachers were losing the contact with the working life. And the consequences of that. This education form is very, very hard connected to the work. It's a post-secondary level. So, as I said, you must have a degree from upper secondary school to reach this education.
Folk University, as Gunnar promised. Folk University was founded back in the 40s by student unions and professors from the university. Back then, at least in Sweden, it was a luxury to get educated. And even more so if you wanted to learn something just for your own fun. But the professors and students thought it should be a benefit even for normal or regular people. So they started up evening classes for the regular people on pro bono basis. And this spread to other university regions in Sweden. And Folkuniversitetet became a foundation of the university, is still so today. Today we're 41 local offices all around Sweden, and we have 120,000 students or people that are engaging in our classes each year. We have classes all from, I usually say that Folkuniversitetet have classes between, if you're a person between 4 or 104 years old. We have kids programs, we have senior citizens programs, we have courses for unemployed people, for immigrants, you name it, we have it actually. We have been a vet provider since 2000, and Uppsala became a vet provider since 2000. We've been a vet provider since 2002. Today, Folkuniversitetet is one of the bigger providers of the ABA programs in
our region. 8 can you help me? Municipalities, yes, and it's 342,000 inhabitants. We have a rather good position in an advance comparing to other regions in Sweden and in Europe, because we have low unemployment and rather high educated inhabitants. But we even there are differences within the region as well. I just took away Europe. We have in the northern parts a declining and aging population, and always a strong tradition of industry. Historically, they had ironworks, and now today they have international industry companies who are strong and have in the northern areas. In the southern areas live the most of the people in the region. 80% is in the southern areas, and 60% of all the people in the region is in the Uppsala city.
Now they are reorganizing it, and perhaps it's something different by summer. But we have the city council who govern, and there you have the politicians, 81 politicians in the city government, city council, and you also have the city executive board. And then you have 2 different sides in the base of the triangle, the client side office and the production administration. Eva and I, we are in the client side office. So we interpret the will of the politicians and we make them into assignments to the production administration and to the production board. And there you have the schools, you have the healthcare, so that's where the production is. And we also have the client-side board, and our board is the Board of Education and Employment. And our office is called the Office of Child, Youth and Employment. So that's where we work on the left side. And Uppsala, it's growing. Today we have more than 200,000 citizens in Uppsala, and it's estimated in 2030 to be more than 240,000 citizens. So it's a growing city. The fifth one, GE Healthcare, is the largest private enterprise we have in Uppsala. And then we have a lot of biomedical science enterprises that follow. But as you can see, you have the municipality with more than 12,000 workers. And regional service organization, that includes the big hospital in Uppsala. And then you have the two universities, and that's without students, so it's only the employed staff in the universities. On the right side, since we're concentrating on young persons and upper secondary school, these are the numbers we have in Uppsala. 8,100 pupils in the upper secondary school. And we have 26 different schools, 8 that are governed by the municipality, and then we have the rest are private.